joining us. It's the Diverse Podcast, and you're with me, it's Debs, and I'm joined with some amazing people that we've been working with now for a while at Diverse. So you guys will have seen a lot of jobs from the Wellcome Sanger Institute, and today we'll be talking to Ben and Gabi, who I will open up the floor to introduce themselves.
Shall I go first?
Yeah.
Go on.
Brilliant. So, nice to meet you. I'm Ben. I support our recruitment and immigration team. I advise basically on any immigration queries that come through as sort of a first port of call, and then I also support early careers opportunities as well. This year, I'm not actually running the TTS itself. That's my colleague Chris, but I have supported it last year, and I'm really an advocate for the scheme itself. So glad to be here.
Fabulous. Great. And Gabi?
Right. My name is Gabi. I am one of the TTS trainees or associates that joined Sanger in September of 2022, which was when the scheme ran the first time. So yeah.
Oh, fabulous.
Basically.
Thanks for joining us, guys. And this is Chris. So I'll also leave Chris to introduce himself.
Hi everyone, yeah, I'm Chris. I'm Ben's colleague, recruitment manager, kind of co-running the TTS this year. I've been at the Institute a couple of years, and I've been involved in some previous early years kind of careers, opportunities at Sanger, and really looking forward to getting involved in this one.
Fabulous, great. So my first question to all of you is just essentially what led you to this career path, working at the Wellcome Sanger Institute. Was it a particular interest in research, or from what I understand, especially with your TA backgrounds, is it something where you specifically were working, Ben and Chris, sorry, did you specifically look to work in this kind of industry, like the sciences, or just give me a bit of background, and then also yourself, Gabi.
Well, I'll go first. So I joined here as an apprentice actually in 2020 and kind of worked my way around the HR team, eventually coming to the recruitment immigration team. I didn't necessarily know that's exactly what I wanted to do at the time, but what I can say is that I was really drawn to the way that Sanger operates and its mission and its goals and the feel around campus. It was not only led to sort of retention, but also just the feeling that while you're here, you actually really are contributing to something really meaningful, and it's really rewarding in that sense.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I was actually just talking to somebody before we joined this call about how I ended up in Sanger. So I got a background in recruitment agency work. I decided that I wanted to go internal, and I had just moved to Cambridge, and I started talking to recruitment agencies, and I was sent a fixed term contract role in the Sanger Institute, and I'd never heard of it, and I was sort of like, wow, not really too sure. Read the role profile, didn't really know what to make of it. I thought it's a fixed term contract, doesn't sound that attractive. And then I went on the website, looked around, and I was like, okay, I want this job. And to be honest, as soon as I set foot on the campus, it's a stunning place. It's got a nature reserve. There's a lake, literally 30 seconds from our desk. After being there for a week, I was like, I'm going to work as hard as I can to make sure this 12-month contract turns into a full-time role, which it did, and I couldn't be happier with that, to be honest.
Great. Yes, and Gabi.
Cool. Okay, so so the Sanger job itself was because one of my best friends sent me the TTS ad, and like Chris, it was kind of like I couldn't really work out what it meant. It was a bit broad, but she liked working at Sanger, so I was like, oh, you know what, I'll apply, I'll interview, and if I don't like how it's going, I can always just reject. It's fine. And then during the assessment day, everyone just seemed so nice, and it was probably one of the easiest, not easiest in the the questions were complicated and stuff, but it didn't feel like the pressure wasn't as high, because no one made me feel like I don't know, no one made me feel like what's the word? Obviously it was an interview setting and everything was very professional, but it didn't feel like this is
Like
super serious
stressful, like
and stressful.
Mm.
Yeah, everyone was very relaxed, even though it was an assessment day. So that made me feel really comfortable. Then Ben offered me the job, and I was like, oh, well, I'll give it a go. You know, it's only like a 2-year contract, which it does seem like a long time, but it has flown by. So I was like, oh, I'll give it a go. And if I don't like it, it's not like I'm signing away my life. I can just leave. And I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. So
That's
Right.
amazing. I think that means
yeah,
it's
no,
going very well then.
it's great. It's such a great place to work. Not just the campus, but the people. It's a great place to work. Yeah.
Amazing. Great,
So
great, great. I'm glad to hear that you all had like seems like very different experiences, but in the end you all found that it's been a very, very great place to work and just made you want to stay and become part of it. So I think that's amazing. I really want to go on to the life on campus because I want to come and visit. Like I've been saying to Toby,
Do it.
I need to get down to Cambridge and come and visit because it looks amazing, like just online and just even like just like reading about it and hearing about it as well from you guys. Could you just like go a bit more into that, like life on campus, particularly like just like day to day, like what it's like that, what it's like working there, you know? We'll start with Chris.
Wow, yeah, it's such a big question, really. I mean, there kind of is no day to day, because it's a bit of a cliche, but every day really is different. I mean, I think for me, there's the kind of the business as usual recruitment role where I'm meeting hiring managers. We've got really nice spaces, cafe spaces, little pods. We've got benches outside, lots of offices and meeting rooms. So I'm going from meeting to meeting. Maybe I'm checking with internal candidates who need some support with their applications. Maybe I've got some project work to do. But beyond that, I think that's just one part of the institute. There's a football team. So we play football every Tuesday. Ben and I are just involved in a table tennis tournament.
Yeah.
I also run the Campus Man Club, which is a mental health group for men, where we kind of meet every 2 weeks, and it's like a safe space for men to come and talk and share their feelings, because men are notoriously bad at that. It's a place where you can kind of get involved in whatever you want to, and really pursue things that are kind of appealing to you. So if you want like kind of presentation training and exposure, you can go and do that kind of thing. So I won't carry on talking because I'll keep going for ages, but that's kind of my summary.
Yeah, no, honestly, no, great insight. Anyone else want to share, Ben or Gabby?
I'd just like to say that there's just a real buzz around the campus, especially when it gets to summertime. There's a real feel of a community, and I think that's a real selling point that we have actually. And when we do on-site interviews and assessments and whatnot, I think it really does help us sell the campus without actually having to go through the process and try and explain to you exactly what it's like once you actually step foot, like Chris did on his first week. You kind of do get the sense this is actually a really, really cool place to work, actually.
yeah, just a quick memory from my second rotation with Seljan. I remember we went to Murray's for lunch, and then my team leader was like, you know what? Let's go feed the fish by the pond. So we did, and that was our after lunch activity. We went to feed the fish.
Not apples, I hope.
Yeah.
No, he had a like fish food.
Yeah.
It's a big
Wow,
size.
what a nice like afternoon activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, big koi fish. Those are big fish. Impressive.
I love that. No, that is so impressive. I love that. Absolutely love that. It sounds like a very, very abundant place, like from what I hear, and I need to get myself down there
100%,
as
yeah.
soon as possible. Cool, great, great, great. So my next question is just if you were to kind of go back to when, so we often say still green, so like when you're still quite fresh, is there anything particularly like any advice you'd give to yourself back then, or what I'd also like you to think about, is there anything you were doing at the time that you think helped you to not only like get your role, but also thrive the way you're currently thriving?
I think,
Ooh.
yeah, I think for me, it's a really difficult question to answer actually, but I think for me, I kind of wish I was a bit more confident at the start. I didn't necessarily shy away from things, but something like this, I probably wouldn't have participated in. I feel like as a person, I've kind of grown in that sense, and now I'm really willing to try and get myself out there, not only network with people, but also try and do sort of work activities as well, like running sessions and attending sessions on campus, which maybe I wouldn't have necessarily been that focused doing at the start. So I think just sort of sharing that confidence has been really, really useful, and it's something that I feel like I can definitely reflect on and show that I've grown in.
It's a really good answer. Um, I'm thinking from a technical perspective, if so I did my undergrad in computer science, and then I did take a break from anything to do with tech for like 6, 7 months because uni really burned me out. Um, and then I joined a company uh, when I was still very young, so I was willing to take anything. And like Ben said, I didn't have the confidence to be like, well, that's not my job, or if you want me to do this, then you have to pay for what you want. So if I could tell myself, like 4 or 5 years ago, to have more confidence in my knowledge, and that just because someone is telling you you're not worth that, that's not necessarily true. If you have confidence in yourself, then you'll find something better. And if things don't feel quite right, then you don't have to take the job. I think that's what I would tell myself
Big
4 or 5 years ago.
No, big facts.
So yeah, I think I'd like to sort of say two things. I think to people who are sort of thinking of applying, or if they're not sure about applying, I deal with internal applicants all the time, and giving CV advice and interview tips and stuff. And like a really common theme is that people are that people undersell themselves, that people don't have the confidence, that people think I haven't got everything that's needed for this role. And 9 times out of 10, I chat to them for 10 minutes and I can tell immediately that actually that's just not true. And it's like just a self-worth and insecurity thing. It's been shown that this is kind of quite a common female trait, that they'll look at the job, the role profile, and if they don't meet all the criteria, they'll think, well, this isn't the role for me. And my advice is just, if you like the sound of the role, just go for it. And worst case scenarios, you've got some practice filling in an application form, some practice preparing and doing an interview. Best case scenarios, you get the job, and people are surprised all the time. As for when I started, so I've kind of been recovering from quite a bad chronic health condition for quite a while, for about 5 years, and I was really not that well when I joined the institute, so I kind of had limited capacity to kind of get too involved in other things, and so I don't think my experience is necessarily going to be that representative of other kind of green people at the institute. But what I will say is I just was so supported. I was kind of like given work kind of on a sort of slowly increasing basis. I never felt overwhelmed, and I was kind of allowed to sort of take time out when I needed to, and that's really helped me to thrive in my role. And then because of that, I think it's really had a big contribution to my health as well.
Oh yeah, no, that's really good to hear that's like been such a positive turnaround for everyone, but particularly like in your story, Chris, like to hear that you were so supported and stuff, it just speaks volumes to the culture at Sanger. And I really hope you guys listening really like take that in. I think it's hugely important to work somewhere where not only like valued for your work, but also like as a person and like what you bring to that community. So yeah, it just sounds like honestly really, really great place to work. Like Toby, I might switch sides. No.
Some vacancies afterwards.
Yes. Okay, cool. So great. So I would just like to go into like some of the various opportunities that you guys like just see at Sanger. So not even it doesn't even need to be relevant to your role, but I would just love to talk about like the variety of opportunities and different departments and things like just different streams to go down essentially. Like if you guys want to like I don't know who would be best to talk about that. Might be just Ben or Chris, but yeah, I'd love to like just hear about the opportunities.
Do you want to go first, Ben?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I said, do you want to go first?
Oh, do I want to go first? Sorry. Yeah, no, I'll go ahead. Yeah, so we have lots of sort of networking opportunities. We have plenty of sort of networks you can get involved with. We have, for example, Disability Network, the Race Equity Network, Parents and Carers Network, stuff like that you can get involved with. We have various opportunities going on at the moment as we speak. So we're building a career framework that people can use to sort of work out where exactly they'd like their career to go within Sanger. So we have lots of different job families, and the idea is that hopefully it will be an aid towards where you can see yourself progressing in the future. So we're building things to try and help people with personal growth, and we have sort of various opportunities as well as training opportunities to get involved with all the time. And I'd encourage people to when they join, just take a look and see what they think. And yeah, sort of a really supportive learning team who head up that training.
Yeah, that's a good answer. I think you've covered a lot of it then. But I think that something that I think is really valuable, and Gabi, I believe you've been through this, is the mentoring scheme. You have a mentor, right? So I've been a mentor to somebody on the management training scheme, and I think I haven't been mentored myself on this scheme, but from what I can tell, the mentees really do get a lot from it. And I'm not just blowing my own trumpet and saying I'm a great mentor, because actually sometimes I wonder who's being mentored. You know, the lady that I'm mentoring is just incredible, and we've been on an amazing journey together, and we're both really learning from each other. And I just think that's such an important thing to do, to kind of have that connection with somebody who is, a bit more experienced than you at the institute, but isn't connected to your role. Just a space where you can, be really free to sort of share the kind of issues that you're going through and just sort of work through that together. And I think, what else is there? I mean, so I know Ben is also involved with our Wellcome Connecting Science. There are really cool opportunities where we can get involved in things like going and kind of teaching and delivering sessions to schools and to young people. Part of the remit of the funding from Wellcome is that the science that they fund is sort of delivered back to sort of ordinary people to inspire the next generation. And yeah, kind of going back to what I said earlier, just there's, whatever your passion is, whatever your interest is, there's somewhere for you to go. There's all these kind of opportunities and networks at the institute. There's I don't know what the Slack channel is, Ben, to do with cats, but if cats is your passion, then there's a whole group of people that just love talking about cats. So.
There's also
don't forget about the dogs. Yeah.
Don't forget the dogs. Just to add on Chris's point, so as a TTS, we get a mentor. They're not always like separated from what we're working on. So I used to have, well, my mentor unfortunately left and now I've got another one, but my first mentor wasn't directly like associated with me. But now my mentor used to be my manager, and we have a very close relationship because she's just amazing. And I find that sometimes having someone doing what you want to do in the future, it can help you sort of learn from what they've already done. So yeah, just my 2 cents on mentoring. Mentoring has been really great. And even when my mentor left, my now mentor was very quick to just step up and take on that responsibility. So it's been, Sanger's just very, very supportive place.
Yeah, like Yeah, I can definitely really tell. It sounds like there's just so many like great like frameworks in place, and you can just see like there's like a real community being cultivated, and I think that's amazing. Honestly, I think that's really, really amazing. Speaking more about the Tech Talent Scheme, so TTS, like could you guys kind of, I don't know who wants to do that, but could someone just give like a rundown, like a summary of like what that looks like, and yeah, and like why they should apply.
I mean, I can try.
It does not need to be perfect, honestly, guys. Like no stress.
So the Tech Talent Scheme is a scheme not just for like graduates, because myself when I joined I wasn't a graduate. It's for early careers, so even if you have work experience, it's still, I've been learning so much. So we do 3 9-month rotations. You do have flexibility on what teams you can go into. There is like a matching process, so I don't know how this bit was done because obviously I wasn't involved in it yet,
Yeah, no
but we
worries.
had after we were successful, after we got the job, we had a poster day at Sanger, so we got to go into the institute. We did a tour of the campus, which was great, and then we got to meet all the teams that were offering rotations, and then at the end of the day, we put our top 3, and then I guess the HR team and the TTS leaders like got together and sort of figured out who can go where or who should go where. But with the central IT team, there's a lot of flexibility there. The team I'm in right now, I wasn't supposed to be in it, but I asked for it and they were very flexible and just let me do it. So the 9-month rotations, they're the way the scheme ran this time was that we had at least one scientific program. So I was in cellular genetics and then 2 central IT rotations. But then there's some people that have done 2 like 2 research programs and 1 in the central IT. I think the aim was to have at least 1 central IT, 1 program area rotation, so you can get a bit of a flavor for both of them, see what it's like on both sides. Yeah, did that kind of
Yeah,
cover
no,
it?
great. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you
Definitely.
so much. I think the reason I just asked for that is because I know a lot of people in our community, for example, will look at the job description and they can see that it says like it's open for anyone, like you do not need to have a background in science. But I think often like people like what we were saying earlier, like about sometimes people read a job description and they just count themselves out like straight away. And it's like, no, I think I really wanted to make it clear for everyone listening and watching that this program is literally, it's something that you can, with, from what I understand, like very little scientific background or none at all,
I
really.
don't have
Yeah,
a
none at
scientific
all. Yeah,
background.
none at all.
I have a computer
Right.
science degree. I don't know anything about biology and
Yeah,
genome.
and life
So
sciences and yeah, all of that good stuff. But yeah, honestly, guys, it definitely sounds like it's definitely a place that will support you and just give you the skills and the knowledge necessary to like thrive in your career and a career that you may not have expected either. But yeah, it's really, really cool.
yeah,
It's really, really cool.
absolutely.
Okay, so could you guys share with me? I don't know if you've had a chance to think about this yet, but just a standout memory. So you've all shared some like anecdotes and stuff, but if you've got a standout memory, just of your like from your time working like on campus or just any like it just maybe not even happened on campus, but yeah.
I have a few, but the standout for me was last year, sort of June, July. Uh, I was just rotating into the new team, so it was me and the only other software developer in the team. We were sat outside Dinah having an ice cream and doing some work and like me trying to understand how the team worked. So we were basically having a meeting outside having an ice cream, and it was great. It was great. It was such
Yeah.
like a wow. I'm actually working right now whilst having an ice cream, and it's
Yes,
just so relaxed, and it was
I
great.
love that. I
That's one
love
of
that.
the standout
Those are
memories
like
for me.
those are like some like core memories. I love when like even in my role in diverse, there's times I might be sitting with Aisha or even just working on my own somewhere, and I'm like, I'll be like, this is my job. Like I'm actually not stressed. I'm like
Yeah.
having quite a nice time. Like
Crazy.
whoa, so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, cool. Anyone else want to share?
Yeah, I'm happy to go next. I've got one sort of work related, one non-work related. So to start with the non-work related one, the institute has basically a genome sports and social club, and every year they run, or they have been running, two separate events. So there's a barbecue event in the summer, and then a fireworks event, obviously towards November time. So
Mhm.
the November fireworks, I think, are such a nice opportunity because it's a night where you watch the fireworks in the evening, but you can also bring your family onto campus and friends and whatnot.
Definitely. Yeah.
And they do that free of charge as employees as a benefit. And I just think it's such a nice sort of expression of something that they do a few times a year, but yeah,
Mm.
is really nice to sort of reward us in that sense, so we don't have to pay for it. It is on our doorstep. So that for me is something as a highlight every year. The work related one is actually to do with the TTS and the separate scheme, the
Cool.
graduate scheme as well. So I've run as a sort of on the recruitment aspects that for the first time this year, the graduate scheme, but I was also involved with the TTS scheme last time round and the graduate scheme the last time round as well. And it's just so rewarding to see such a talented group of people come through the from basically as graduates, or in Gabi's case, coming through with having maybe some experience but wanting to translate it into work, and just watching them come from the bottom and then basically working their way up. And some of them are in permanent roles now, which is really, really nice to see. And it does make me proud sometimes that I was there from the start almost.
Well, I'll come to you when I have my full-time job. I'll let you know.
Yes, please do.
Should be any minute now, right, Chris? Should be any minute.
Pressure.
I
Um,
just wanted to add, sorry, Chris. I just wanted to add a work-related one. Well, more work-related one. When I was doing my rotation in cellular genetics, we had our like what it's called a cell gen day, and it was basically a whole day of the scientists presenting what they've worked on for the past year, and it was so mind-blowing, the science that they were doing and the like what they've been able to like figure out. They were able to figure out some sort of like gene mutation that was happening on somewhere, and a lot of and what was really good to see as a woman was that a lot of research was actually being done on women's bodies and not just like endometriosis, for example. They were working on figuring out what that's about, I think. It was someone with not no science or biology background. Even those presentations felt very accessible. Like when they started talking about methods and whatever, then they lost me. But the this is what we were able to do was really, it was really cool to see that my work had actually helped them
Yeah,
come up with these like amazing like discoveries. It was great. It was really good.
that's really amazing, honestly. Yeah, the work that is done over there at the institute is truly, truly like it's groundbreaking work. It's amazing. So yeah, I think that's something that we should definitely come back to. But yeah, Chris, we'll just get on to let your stand out.
yeah, that's a difficult question. I think I've had a while to think about it now. I think for me, just kind of an observation of my own sort of journey over the last 2 years. So when I came to the institute, um, I've always struggled with public speaking. I can remember like when I was at school, I worked at home base and I was like a little section team leader. It was just a part-time job while I was at school, and they gave me a presentation to do to all the staff about this new line of like garden furniture and things. And I thought I was going to have a panic attack. I had to go outside. I was like hyperventilating. I was like, what is this? Like, why am I so scared? And then all through university, it was kind of a similar story. Um, but I've always wanted to get better at it, and I've always wanted to keep trying. And since being at the institute, you know, I've carried on kind of throwing myself into these presentation situations. And we actually ran a really great, it's called Presenting with Impact course, which is, I forget the credentials of the lady that does it, but she's external. Didn't she used to be like a newsreader or something like that? I think some kind of she was something related to, you know, giving like really kind of large scale presentations. And it was incredible, you know, and she tore my presentation to pieces, and she was like, make it more fun, and, you know, add some color, and I've carried on doing them, and just kind of recently when I present, I noticed that I'm not like on the edge of panic anymore, you know. I'm just, and it's almost like I'm watching myself. I'm like, who is this person talking to all these people? And, you know, I can't hear my heart pounding in my chest. And I think, you know, I mean, obviously that can happen in other places too, but I think that the supportive environment at Sanger has really helped to sort of bring that out of me. And I'm so pleased, because it's something I've really wanted to get better at for a long time.
Wow, yeah, no,
Yeah, I
amazing.
agree. I find that going back to like the interview process, it doesn't feel as much pressure when you're presenting, at least from my perspective. I too hate public speaking. I hate it. I don't like it. But I find that it's not as like nerve-wracking at Sanger, because it's not that serious. Of course it's serious, and if you're presenting something for work, it's serious, but if you mispronounce a word, no one's gonna like, you know, it's fine, because no one's gonna call you out on it. No one's gonna make you feel silly because you said something wrong. It's great. So I agree with Chris. It's a lot.
Yeah, I love this. I think for me, what I'm seeing is the common thread is that like there's so much seriousness to what you guys do. Like it's crazy science. I don't know if my brain can hack the level of science that's going on over there. But what's amazing is that there's that thread of us like it's like not to use the Gen Z buzzword, but it's just good vibes, you know. It sounds like there's great vibes, like it's serious, like very serious, like the work that's being done. And I'm sure in terms of just meeting the standard you need to be at and just like making sure you all do a great job, I'm sure like you take that serious. But it sounds like other than that, like it's good vibes, and that's what you want like at work. You know, that's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you bring out the best in people, right?
Yeah. It's amazing. It's really, 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 really good to hear. And it's just great because I hope that you guys who are watching, tuning in now, listening, go have a look at the Tech Talent Scheme. It's something that you never know, it could be the kickstart to your career, like in goodness, God knows what, because it sounds like there's so much to do at Sanger. But yeah, so like even like going into that, so does anyone want to let me know a bit about like the different types of job roles? Like I know there's like jobs in like IT, there's jobs in like the sciences, from what I understand as well. And just like a little bit about like the type of like, so we know for the Tech Talent Scheme you don't really need any scientific background, but are there other roles that you would want to make like our community aware of that they could like be applying to with maybe some other backgrounds?
Bioinformaticians, which is a mix of science and computational skills, I guess. I briefly did a bit of informatics in the research program, sorry. So that's a nice blend if you have a biology background, but you're interested in more of an IT take on it.
Also, just from what I know, just in terms of just doing a bit of the recruitment marketing, I know you guys often have like software developer roles and just things like that, guys, that I know some of you have got like are more than qualified to apply for those jobs. So just yeah, definitely like stay tuned for some of those roles as well.
We do quite often have junior roles and kind of more entry level roles, which kind of make it more accessible to people in early careers. And early careers is something which is only going to grow at the institute, I think. You know, Ben has that as part of his remit, and we've recently hired an early careers coordinator. So I think just really keep an eye on our website, on our careers page, because I think we're going to try and have a much more kind of joined up approach to early careers and apprenticeships across the institute. I think apprenticeships are, you know, it's not something I know a huge amount about, but I think they sound amazing. And I think, you know, I think about all the debt that I came out of university with and no clue about what I wanted to do. And I think, well, an apprenticeship would sort of take care of a lot of those problems. So that's something we're looking to really sort of invest in a bit more. So yeah, watch this space on those.
Watch this space, guys. Yes. Okay, so before we start wrapping up, just because I think it might be interesting, not just interesting, important for our community to hear. Does anyone want to just run through the application process, like just like really briefly for the TTS? So then like start to finish, like start to pretend like to being hired, hopefully. What that looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, shall I jump in? Ben, you'll have to correct me if I go off course. I should know it. So yeah, so the application is are open at the moment. I believe it closes on May. I want to say the 24th.
Yeah, it's 24th or 14th or something, but it's mid-May. Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you have to submit your CV, and then we're also asking for a cover letter. And in the advert, we've put a bit more detail on the kind of information that we're hoping to see on the cover letter. It goes into kind of technical skills, and it goes into the kind of projects that you might have worked on, and it also centres quite heavily around our behavioural competency framework, which are the kind of the values that we value at the institute. And so we're really looking for people, so you know, the kind of the difference between an application that's kind of, you know, not so great and one that's good is, you know, I think in recruitment it's always simpler than you think, and you just have to really focus on what we're asking for in the advert. Just really follow those instructions, really answer those questions, you know, as well as you can. Focus on you know, what you did, you know, and kind of the outcomes of that. Once that advert is closed, we'll be shortlisting. We've got dates for our assessment centre. I think they're around about the 10th of June. And we're going to be having 2 days of Zoom-based assessment centres where we're going to be running various different kind of tasks, interviews. There's going to be some technical tasks. There's going to be some group tasks. Just trying to get like a different perspective of, you know, how applicants kind of perform in different kind of areas, and then after that, those who are successful will be invited to campus for a day, just have a look around. You know, that's our sort of big selling piece, really. Look at the campus, look where you'll be working. Yeah, and then fingers crossed they'll be starting in September. I think, is that right? Did I miss anything?
I think so.
Yeah.
It's September. Yeah, I think
right
it's September 10th or something, middle of September. First, second week of September, I think.
Yeah, September 9th, I think.
Yeah, and if anybody has got any questions as well, you know, we're more than happy to answer those. I think on the website you can see an email address. You can just email us, recruit@sanger.ac.uk. Happy to answer any questions and have a chat if that helps as well.
Great. No, thank you so much, Chris. That's a fabulous run through. Really good breakdown. And you think that you like memorized that.
I was going to remember it, to be honest.
No, great. Oh, thank you so much, guys. Like honestly, from everything from mentorship to just life on campus and just all your stories and like your just how different they are, but like there's literally this common thread of like, okay, it was a good vibes place. You stayed because it was great vibes, and now like you're continuing to thrive. I think that all in all just goes to show why you need to go and get your applications in ASAP before it closes.
Yep.
So make sure to do that, guys. And yeah, again, and it's been your girl Debs from Diverse, and I've been joined by Chris, Ben, and Gabi from the Wellcome Sanger Institute. And yeah, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you joining and supporting on this, honestly.
Great.
Great. Okay, now I'm just gonna stop recording.